Hello and welcome. My name is Ash, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Ash Knows Travel, where we go over everything travel. And today we are doing a live travel advisor training on 21-day bookings and fraud prevention. This is a very important topic because it is always important to protect you and your business and your clients. So let me go ahead and remove all of this fancy stuff off your screen. While I'm doing so, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss when I'm going live. So I have it already pulled up here for us, 21-day booking and fraud prevention training. This is going to be a comprehensive guide to protect yourself, your client, and your commissions when handling bookings that depart within 21 days. So what is a 21-day booking? Timeline definition, it's going to apply to any travel booking where departure is within 21 days of the booking date. Now, all vendors are going to require fraud prevention documentation, like including the authorization form, the ID verification, and the payment card verification. Of course, only the front, and we're only going to get certain parts of it. But when it comes to 21-day bookings, Archer also has specific rules. Some of the vendors, we'll go over the ones that do, but some of the vendors have additional requirements where documentation must be submitted directly to Archer Travel for verification purposes. So let's get into it. Why does fraud prevention matter? So there's a very important line that we have to go through when it comes to fraud prevention, right? A lot of the times I do new agent orientation, and anytime I start talking about the credit card authorization form, people immediately are, what is this? Why do we have to do this? There's so much protection that comes into a credit card authorization form. It's going to protect you because it's going to prevent you from getting any chargebacks, right? Or any fraud, because you're going to have a signature. It's also going to protect your client because they're not going to be using anybody's card. They have to verify that it's their card, verify that it's them with their ID, and it's going to protect the vendors because the vendors aren't going to have any financial losses from the fraudulent bookings and chargebacks. On top of that, it's going to help secure your commission because you're not going to have to worry about, hey, is this going to go through? Is this going to be canceled? Is this something that I can actually book? You're going to be able to verify everything before you even step into the booking process. Proper fraud prevention creates like a win-win situation for everyone inside of the travel ecosystem. I love that. So this is a part of our ecosystem for today, fraud prevention and 21-day bookings. So for the 21-day booking requirements, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. Anytime I do 21-day bookings, I've been here for 3 years and I've actually only ever done one. Only one. It is rare that people travel within 21 days unless there's an emergency or something has happened and they need to go, like some death in the family, somebody got sick. Okay, totally understand. That is a good requirement. That is a great reason to do a 21-day booking. But it is going to be very rare that someone's going to actually travel within 21 days. It's very rare that someone actually decides, you know what? I'm going to go on a vacation next week. Yep. No, most of us have responsibilities. Most of us have jobs and requirements and blah, blah, blah. We can't do that. So when you get a 21-day booking, I want you to automatically just raise red flags. Okay, let's start qualifying this client and make sure it's legit, right? I also always suggest, even for me, who's been here for 3 years, if I get a booking that seems like, oh, it's within 21 days, I'm going to automatically do like a fraud check, and we're going to talk about that today. But I also send it to my mentor. Yes, my lovely Emily Jimenez. Even to this day, I will go, oh, girl, look at this. What is this? Does this look legit? A second pair of eyes always helps, okay? So if you are new, especially if you are new, please check with your mentor first. If you get this and it just looks off, it's 21 days. Okay, let's verify everything before we continue. Now, Archer is aware of this. So they make requirements for all bookings and especially for 21-day departures. But for all of them, they need to have The Archer Travel Credit Card Authorization Form, it must be completed by both you and your client. Driver's license must be clear. It can be also take passports too, but it must be clear and legible for identity verification. And then the front of the credit card. Now, there is a kind of a way with this, okay? We're not asking you to just send the whole card. Nobody wants to do that. I get that. But what we need to see is the cardholder's name and the last 4 digits of the card. Why? Because that's what we're going to write on the form. And it needs to match what's on the card because that's how we prevent fraud. That's how we prevent somebody else using someone's card and then there's a chargeback, right? And then there's this fraud and then there's just a whole mess. It can all be easily prevented by this. This is going to do so many things for protection. Not only is it going to protect you from fraud and chargebacks, inside that credit card auth form, there's a very thin little line that says, do you acknowledge that, you've been given the opportunity for travel insurance? And then they say yes. And then it says, do you accept travel insurance? And then if they put no, underneath it says, the risk of declining coverage, blah, blah, blah. We'll look at it. But there's just so many parts that come into this, and it's so important that you do this. It is very easily done. I just download it, sign it, send it out. It's just a process that you need to get in habit to because it's going to always protect you. So let's take a look at the 21-day booking process, shall we? And then we're going to talk about fraud prevention. So, excuse me, are you booking a client or yourself within 21 days of travel with these suppliers? So there's only certain suppliers that actually require a 21-day booking submission. All of the bookings require for you to take the information, but only certain vendors will actually require for you to submit them. This is part of their contract that they have with Archer Travel. They have a strict contract that states if they do a 21-day booking, we need all of this submitted to verify. It's there for a reason. So make sure you don't skip it, because if you do a 21-day booking and you don't submit it, they're going to come to you and say, hello, where's that information at? Right? They're not going to forget about it, especially if you book it on Archer Travel site. Absolutely. So here are the lists for the 21 days of travel with these suppliers. We're going to scroll down very slowly. Boom. There it is. USA agents only, of course. Apple Vacation. If you're outside of the country and you're using a US vendor, you still qualify. Okay, you're not special there. I'm sorry. You still have to do this, and you still have to submit it, especially if it's like Archer Go. Submit it. Okay. Apple Vacation. Anything inside Vax. We'll just say Vax. American Airline Vacation. That's its own vendor. AM Resort Collection. Archer Go. That's our little app, right? Beds Online, Blue Sky, that's Vax, Delta Vacations, FunJet, Pleasant Holidays, Ski.com, Southwest Vacations, Travel Impressions, United Vacation. Okay, if you want, this is what I do. Anytime if I've ever gotten a request and that's a vendor I'm going to use, go in here and verify it. Honestly, in a lot of 21-day bookings, where do we normally go? Where do we end up at? Expedia. It's not on this list. So if I were to use Expedia for a 21-day booking, I wouldn't submit it. Okay. But in this scenario, if we use, let's say, Apple Vacations, we need to come in here and submit a completed credit card form and booking info to Archer if the reservations are made within 21 days of departure with the suppliers below. Now, it goes down and it goes even further. So, not made with a traveler's credit card. So if you have a booking and it's not made with it, it tells you here, submit the driver's license and the credit card. Any booking can be found. It says not submitted. Okay, cancellation. La la la. There's a lot that goes in here. But at the very bottom, do you see this part where it says, you are financially responsible for all credit card transactions, chargebacks, and fraud. In the event that you do not have the specified documentation as required, you will not be covered by our liability insurance. That's the part of the liability insurance. So it's very important that we have the 3 components: credit card auth form, front of the ID, and the front of the credit card with the stuff blocked out. Okay? This is very important stuff that we're going over today. Now let's talk about the actual submitting of the form. I don't want to scare you guys though. Honestly, it's important. Just get into a habit of it. Don't be scared by this stuff, because I have been here. I've had bookings. I've earned my IATAN. I'm earning the second one. I'm almost there. Of course, you have to renew it every year, so it's not like I really haven't earned it. I just have to renew it again. But it comes to a part where you just get into a habit of it. And I have never had a client that has come to me and been like, I don't want to do that. If they didn't want to do that, then it's a red flag, right? And we're going to talk about fraud prevention today. And that's where that's going to come into. So don't get too worried about this. You just want to be alert and aware and know exactly the process so you don't make mistakes. That's what we're doing here today. So submit a booking within 21 days of credit card auth form. It's different. When you're doing a regular credit card auth form, we do not submit it. But if it's within 21 days of booking with those suppliers, we do. So come in here. You will download it's the same form. Okay. There's no difference in the credit card auth form. If you haven't seen the credit card auth form, tomorrow I'm doing a training on the credit card auth form and the commission tracking form. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. But credit card auth form is the exact same. Here it is. There's all those important details, right? I'm gonna drink some more water. Okay, so we'll go over all this tomorrow, but it's the same form as the regular one, right? Go back here. Now, here's the important part. Evolution ID, your email, especially the one that's in your back office. Travel agent name, your name. If they were offered travel insurance and if they accepted it or declined it. And then credit card auth form is here. There's client passport here, and then the front of the credit card there, and then you hit submit. That is how you do that. But keep in mind that it's only with certain vendors, which are here. So all we have to do, we get a 21-day booking, check with our mentor, make sure it's legit, or if there's any red flags, verify them. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we do the booking, but when we're doing the booking, make sure we get all the important details, right? Auth form, ID, credit card, etc. Go in here, submit it to Archer, and then if you have any questions about it, guys, you can always email them here and they will help you out. Or you can also always call Archer, which their phone number is the 818-248-1511, and they can also go into further detail, but that's all you really need to know about that. So let's talk about fraud prevention. Let's get into that. If you suspect fraud, right? When in doubt, always err on the side of caution. First things, always contact your upline, right? You want to always, I know it's a supervisor or manager, that's ChatGPT. Always make sure that you reach out to your mentor, because you want to basically just have a second pair of eyes. Contact Archer if you have any questions, of course. And then if you have somebody that's doing the fraud and it seems like, like it's something that happens a lot, you can call Archer and let them know. It's important that if we notice a pattern with, directly Archer agents, we need to let other people know. So you can definitely report it as well. Document everything. And of course, if you've ever been a victim of fraud, we're always going to suggest, making sure you talk to law enforcement or whatever. But it's better to decline a suspicious booking than to deal with the fraud aftermath. So always, always, always make sure you follow the steps that we're going to talk about today to prevent any type of fraud. So, fraud prevention checklist. Make sure you collect all the required documents, auth form, ID copy, and then the card copy with only the last 4 digits visible to protect the clientele. Now, here's some extra stuff that I like to do, okay? Verify that client's address. If you ever just type in someone's address and they've lived there for a while, their name's going to pop up, okay? If you can't find it that way, then err on the side of caution. This is also suggested. I've got this straight off of Archer's Travel Cafe. So confirm by phone. Talk to them on the phone. When we're qualifying clients, we're not just qualifying the clients just for them. We're qualifying for them, for ourselves, to make sure that we can do the booking, right? This is a great way to do so. Maybe even get on video call if you feel the need to. And then always check their social media. I feel like that's a good one. We can be some great FBIs here. We don't need to do that, right? We can do some searching here and check their social media, right? For any online presence, for any red flags or any consistencies. If it looks weird, it probably is. And then, of course, if you see any activity, just let Archer or let your upline know so they can kind of just let other people know if it's a pattern, okay? And then you want to screenshot this, you can. Also, it's in the back here. It's on fraud prevention. I can show you where it's at, actually. We go to resources, checklist for success. And then we have detection and fraud prevention, and have it in English. And if you click here, click here, you can download it, but it's here too. I have it all here for you. Okay. So back to my slides. Here's some extra just prevention steps. Like I said, home address verification, phone, video, and then that social media check. Just go beyond the basics, okay? Don't just ever sit there and be like, it can't happen to me. Absolutely can. So I'm going to give you guys some just best practices for agent tips before I leave you. These are just things that we're just kind of going through a lot of important stuff this week. So we're just going to kind of summarize it all together here as just the best practices that you can do as an agent. Make sure you always submit your forms early. Do not play around, especially with 21-day bookings. If you submit that form late, they will cancel the booking. Fun fact. And they'll also send you an email, especially if it's on Archer Go. I've had this happen with an agent. That's how I know. An agent did a 21-day booking for herself. That's also not just for clients. It's for you too. She did it herself, and she never submitted anything. And they sent her an email saying, hey, you have 24 hours to submit this or we're canceling your booking. And she had to. So do not wait. Also, don't wait with the commission tracking forms. We talked about that yesterday. Do them immediately after the booking. If you wait until that 30-day, deadline, then we got to talk about the commission reduction because you didn't do it on time, right? So, next one, collect all of your documents. Always collect required fraud prevention docs, even for trusted or repeat clients. I don't care if it's your bestie. I don't care if it's your uncle or your Aunt Susan. I don't care. Get the documents because you never know what can happen. People do chargebacks every single day, and you don't want it to happen, right? Stay active. Keep your membership active and your dues current at all times to avoid any commission reductions. And also, it can really just mess with the whole system. So you want to make sure that you stay active, track your deadlines, use your calendar, and then also kind of keep a task list if you have to when it comes to all of these trackings. And then always, always, always make sure you ask if you're unsure. I've been here for 3 years. Me and Emily, we've been talking for years, right? And I will message her. If there's one doubt in my mind that something is not right, I will just immediately ask because I'd rather ask and find out than make a mistake, right? And then, of course, don't hesitate to report any suspicious activities. Make sure if you're dealing with the client and they have a fraud. I've had only one fraud instance my whole 3 years here. And that was on Instagram. And this lady messaged me and she was like, I'm going to leave within the next 72 hours. We can be on a plane. It doesn't matter where we go. Our budget's blah, blah, blah. And I can just book it and we can just go. And I'm ready to book. And then she sent me another message and another one. And I was like, whoa, lady, who is blowing me up, right? Immediately, red flag. Why? The urgency to rush me to book. I don't like to be rushed. You are going to give me 72 hours to look at what I need to look at, right? The whole thing about I'm ready to leave right now. Whoa, what? No, nobody's ready to. This ain't no private jet service. You're not just about to hop on a plane. We got to plan this, right? I knew it was fraud. So I told her, I was asking some questions and I was trying to qualify her because I don't ever want to just assume. So I'm going to ask. I'm genuinely curious at this point. 2 days later, I hopped back on Instagram. Guess what? Her profile was gone. It was completely gone. It was like when they shut them down, it looked like that. So that's something that can easily happen to any of us. If you guys ever get those weird messages on Facebook that you're being shut down, no, you're not. Facebook will never message you that you're being shut down. If you ever get weird messages about people that like, I've seen where people will act like they're interested in booking that just so they can flirt with you. Like I've seen it all. Like it exists. Then this isn't just for travel agents. This happens every single day in the world. So take that same respect when it comes to your business. If it seems weird, then don't do it. Protect yourself, protect your clients, and you will be successful. Key takeaways, any questions, of course, I'm going to answer them in a second in my studio. When I'm doing these live trainings and I'm on like this app here, and I can't see the studio, so I can't see your questions. So I'll answer them, of course, at the end. But key takeaways, 21-day bookings, make sure you collect your information, verify it, and then submit it. And then, of course, use all of your tools for verification to protect yourself, your clients, and Archer Travel. Any questions, of course, let me know. We want to make sure we keep your booking secure and your commission safe. And of course, always for additional support, you can reach out to Archer. There's their phone number, 818-248-1511. So that is all I have for you guys today for 21-day bookings and fraud prevention. I'm going to head over to my studio now. Make sure tomorrow you guys check in at the same time, 5 p.m. PST. We're going to go over the credit card authorization form and the commission tracking form. And yeah, I'm going to head to my studio now. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, comment below if this helped you. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you at the studio to answer any questions. And we're going to put some music on us. So we're going to put some music on for us so we can have a little background noise. But I will see you there. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow.